Welcome back, guys. In the year 251 after the millennial reign of Christ, supposedly, indeed, as we discussed in our first video of the St. Mary's Basilica of Immaculate Conception, where we discussed that we believe that the devil was loosed in 1776 and that Christ left the saints. So we are not in AD 2026, but the preterists believe that we're in the year 251 after the millennial reign of Jesus Christ. So as we are continuing with our study of the St. Mary's Basilica of Immaculate Conception, we would like to just now this is the third part of the series. So today we are going to be finishing up with this building, and then maybe we can look at some of the other buildings that are right here in Zimbabwe, because what we are saying is that what alleged the truthers about the millennial reign of Jesus Christ was evidence of the mud flood that took place in 1776, and then people were starting to look at some of the buildings that had been flooded, and then they started looking at the architecture of these buildings, and then people started noticing like a disparity between the way these buildings were built and the way we build today. Okay, because people, when they start looking at the mainstream narrative and they start asking about the dates that these buildings were built, some are said to have been built around 1300, most of them, we can say 90% of them, 18th, 19th century buildings, and some of them they even reach up to the 20th century, but most of them are 18th and 19th century buildings, according to the mainstream narrative. When you search like Wikipedia, the dates they give you. So people are asking questions like, why did we stop building like this? Because generally when people are constructing in the construction industry, they say that the transitional phase of a certain type of architecture usually takes a long time than it took for us to just skip from constructing Greco-Roman buildings, and then we just start constructing these sort of temporary structures compared to these Gothic structures. The way we build today, it will be sort of temporary, because if you look if you look at these buildings that we are calling old world buildings, they were not made of bricks, they were made of rocks, stones, granite stones, sandstones, limestones, marble stone, sandstone. You know, those are the building materials they were using. You know, like they weren't using bricks. And then you start asking, how were they doing this before power tools came? You know, way before people started inventing, you know, high-tech tools. And they say people were using what? Hammer and a chisel. Nothing more, nothing less. A hammer and a chisel. That's when people start doubting the narrative. Then they start saying, maybe these people might be lying, because how can you end the timeline? They say this, some they say in a year it was, and then we are saying, okay, today we don't see this type of architecture, you know, we don't see people building like this today. Not at all. Like if it was like a transitional phase thing, you know, we would see some remnants of this architecture, or you know, like they are supposed to be like certain companies or certain skilled men, you know, who still say, we can still build like this. You can subcontractors, because you know these are breathtaking buildings, and people out there are people out there with money, you know, like if I had money, and you know, because you know we see on reality televisions people, you know, looking for architects to design $1 million houses for them, and I never saw anyone, you know, who wanted a Greco-Roman style of architecture built with stone using current tools, you know, high-tech stuff, the cranes, you know, the laser cutters, whatever. But people, there's no one, not even one single person who claims, you know, because around the 1900s, people, the Wikipedia pages tell us some of these buildings were being built. But then, where did the companies go? Where did this build? I mean, they should have, I mean, there should be people who, because they're saying it's Greco-Roman, and the Greeks were like before Christ, you know, like 500, 1,000 years before Christ. But that knowledge survived like 2,000 years, and then to just vanish within 50 or 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years completely. Not even anyone knows how it's done. You know, we just need someone who just tell us, we know how it's done. No one even knows how it's done, you know, besides the fact that no one wants to build something like this, you know, just the knowledge, and say, my pops was doing this and that, and, you know, he's got the schematics, you know, in the books of how they were doing this, because you find that these buildings, like, you find a marble structure or a granite structure might have a sandstone foundation and then a limestone sub foundation. And you might have like 3 layers of foundations of rock, you know, rocks, you know, not bricks. You know, these structures are not standing on brick foundation, but on rock foundation, and not the same type of material as the upper structure. I mean, you can see this picture here. There's the top building, there's the foundation, and then there's the sub foundation. So different materials, and no one even knows how it's done. I mean, so as we take a look at this building, the St. Mary's Basilica of Immaculate Conception, we are now diving deeper, into how people got to identify some of these buildings, because there are certain features, besides the building material that was used. Because the first two videos of our investigation, we were dealing with the type of material, because it's one of the big red flags. But some buildings are hard to identify, unless you know what to look for, the features to look for. And there are many videos that have been made out there about old road buildings, but no one had really gotten to the forensics of how to identify these buildings. People are just generalizing. Look at the ornate detail, or look at the amazing detail. But no one is telling us what kind of detail, what do they call it? The guys who claim to have built this. So that is what we are going to be doing today. So what we are looking at here is the building, and if you take a look at these structures that look like they are supporting this building, they are called buttresses. We contacted Mr. ChatGPT, and then we put up a few arrows, and then the AI tells us you're looking at buttresses. But for the sake of progress, we're trying to make it short, and we weren't there when these things were being built. Like, even if we are claiming they were built by the angels, we don't even know why they were putting these things, these things that they look like they are supporting this structure. But we believe it's for decoration. But it wasn't just decoration only. They had another function, for sound and creating electricity. That's the two purposes of the details or the decorations that we are going to be showing here. These buildings were just built to be machines, receiving and generating energy and transmitting it, efficiently. And it was all based on sound. And you can see they are angels, they are statues, that were left on these buildings, and they are telling us that we did all this through sound. Sound was the power. The sound, in the beginning, God said, it's a sound. Sound creates. Sound is the creator of everything. It's all about sound. This devil we are speaking of was in the sound department. Like he was the archangel of sound. He was the master sound engineer. Gabriel, many might have had another responsibility, but the devil, he was all about sound. So I'm sure during creation, he must have been maybe the highest ranked angel. It was the Lord, the Holy Spirit, the Son, and then the devil. They were all like part of one thing. Because if he was in the sound department, every creation, everything that was created, he knows how it was done through the sound. Because if they wanted a harp, they would come to him and say, we need a harp, we want to create a flower. I'm sure that's how it happened. Or maybe he was the one who was cleaning the tools. Maybe he was the one who was cleaning the harps and everything. We don't know. But those tools which were used to construct, to create everything, he had access to them. He might have known how it's done. Hence why he rebelled. Because he was feeling like, man, I'm feeling myself. I can do this. I can create also because, I got sound in me. I can do everything. That's why we're saying, today's music, you don't get to sing on the mic, especially on an international level. Those lyrics, they are directed at the Lord. If you try to listen to those lyrics, especially me, I grew up listening to rap, hip hop music, and then I was wondering, like, who is this guy referring to? He's just dissing someone, but you don't even know who he's dissing because he's not even mentioning any name. And then we got to realize, these are code stars. These people we grew up listening to, the Jay-Z's, the Eminems, the Tupacs. We thought maybe they were the guys writing the lyrics. Right now, we don't believe that. Believe that these lyrics are written by the devil himself. You can listen to the tracks. They are talking about the timeline. From right now, the lyrics are mostly talking about him being jailed, because the devil was jailed 1,000 years. So they're talking about him being jailed and him coming out, and the end, and him claiming that he might win, or sometimes he even admits everything is going to end, he's going to die. So it's not these guys who are singing. I was listening to Miley Cyrus' song. She was saying, I came here like a wrecking ball or something like that, which if you read in Revelation 12, it says the devil was cast down to earth like a lightning bolt. I'm sure he must have hit hard. But then if you look into the movies, the bad guys is the heavenly guys, the Christ. Sometimes Christ is Thanos. The bad guys, they're always depicted as people who want to kill people. They want to end the world, because the Lord wants to end the world. He's going to kill the sinners. So he's depicted as the bad guy. But there's the concept of the one eye concept. Thanos said one eye. You see a lot of depictions of one eye. Even in music, there was a hip-hop artist who was called Left Eye. There's a guy who was singing with one eye who was called Slick Rick. And you just have to start opening your eyes and sing this one eye thing. You see some artists, they're covering one eye only, and people were saying, why are these Masons, these singers, why these actors, why are they covering one eye? We are trying to say that the mainstream media is highly controlled by the devil. That's why he makes people stars. They don't even, because we are saying if it was if there was 1,000-year millennial reign, okay, and repopulation started 1776, and then someone just grabs a mic, and he's seeing beautiful buildings being destroyed, the bells are being taken from the cathedrals, the city that was lit by free energy now. I mean, the first thing you do when you pick up a mic is start informing people, like the next generation, like if you ever pick up this message, this is what they were doing. They were destroying the lamps, they were destroying the canals and whatever. But he wouldn't let you. He would want the music to say whatever he wants. That does not direct people's focus on what he's doing, destroying all the old world millennial architecture, So you never hit the mainstream singing something that comes out of your mind. You never become a star. You never become a star that way. But anyway, coming back to what we were saying about these buttresses.
We're saying that we do not acknowledge the mainstream narrative about these buttresses serving the purpose of wow. What are these buttresses for again? Yeah, they tell us is to support the building, maybe from collapsing, or I don't know, but we believe it was for the sound. Yeah, we believe it was something to do with sound energy, like creating sound, like if you try to find out where you might find these buttresses when we are doing these searches, like if you go onto Google, type in buttresses, it will just yield maybe two examples, and then that's it. The rest, the results won't be an exact match. I'm sure it's because we're in the 21st century, so there are no examples of this type of architecture. in our current civilization. So they just give you 2 medieval examples, and then that's it. And then you won't find more examples of these old world types of architectural styles. So if you go, I went up on Flickr. There's this website called Flickr. So that is where I found some of the images containing these buttresses. The other ones that I found were on Facebook. There's this page that we looked into in the second video. The Medina Sandstone Society, what? That's where you might find some of the European, Australian, or American buildings, like this one, and this one, and this one. But for this one is the Zimbabwean one. You can see right around the building, it's all buttresses. And then there's another one from Zimbabwe. With this one, they say it's in Plumtree. We've got the buttress here, and then this one, they say it's in Salisbury. As you can see, all these are the buttresses. Oh, these I'm sure there's another one. I'm sure at the back there's some more. This looks like another one, and another one here. And this is in Inyati. I'm pretty sure it's some church in Inyati. But you can see we have 2 types of buttresses here. There's this one, and there's this one, and then over here we're in Gweru. We can see these buttresses. The reason why I took this picture, this one I took myself. We're going on the ground, boots on the ground. I had come across this cable feature here. Look at an air vent or a window, whatever it is, but we don't build like this today. Like, we don't put these circular features on our cables. So that's one other way you can identify these old world buildings. This is another one. It's in Gweru. This is the Air Force Base. I pass through this place every time I go into town, and I used to wonder, like, what is this structure for? If we are talking about military purposes, like, was it for training? Some say it's a shooting range, but you don't even understand what military purpose this thing was serving. So, as you can see, like, we've shown like the buttresses up there in Europe, America, and whatnot, and then the ones here in Zimbabwe. I'm trying to to put as much stuff as I can, which I took myself, like on the ground here in Gweru, like the local stuff, because if you can find these buildings, if you can find them here in Gweru, Zimbabwe, I mean, it's a very small town in the world. It's not even considered a major town. It's in Africa. Zimbabwe, it's even considered a third world country. Like if you can find stuff of the old world in a city so unpopular like Gweru, Zimbabwe, I mean, what more if you're in Europe or maybe the more developed world of Africa, like South Africa, Egypt, like the Casablancas. Not so sure about Nigeria, Abuja or Lagos, but there are some cities that are very popular here in Africa, but not so much Gweru. But so that's why I'm trying to do a lot of on the ground stuff. Try to encourage some guys out there, like to go out there on the ground and start looking at some of these features and try, it might open up our eyes, like these controllers, they kept us, enchained and blinded, like these buildings here we see here. I mean, some of these buildings, we pass through them every day, but we don't think nothing of them because there is a Wikipedia page that's saying we built it, the human beings built it. I mean, can you imagine building a buttress like this? These are more complex, like from the one that you were seeing here, that are the ones that are in Africa, because especially here in Southern Africa, we have much simpler designs, but and I think that's why it took me a long time to start appreciating these buildings and acknowledging them as old world, because if you at first glance, I mean, you wouldn't even think a lot about these buildings, like they are very simple, but when you start to do a much deeper study, that's when you start studying like hardness of materials like granite, and then you start saying, the granite must be hard, to work with your hammer and chisel. So, as we said in the first two videos, we were talking about the building material, but in this video, we're gonna try to focus more on the features of how to identify some of these buildings. So, I don't even know how I came across this other feature, like the gable vents, like as you can see, this is the gable here, but I'm not sure what made me start looking at these gable vents. But the moment I started looking for buildings with these gable features, that's when like the Pandora's box opened for me. Like, there are a lot of buildings, these cable features, because it's hard to find these buildings without identifying these cable vents, especially the Southern African architecture, more specifically here in Kweru, Zimbabwe, maybe you're in Blueway or whatever. If the building has no cable vent, I mean, it's hard to determine if it's old world or not. But after doing some studies, it's only recently, like I think December 2025, that's when I came across, like this house here it's right next door to where I stay, this house that's poking out of the bushes here. It's right next to my house. And as you can see, this is how we build today. We build houses that crack, they are liable to cracks. But as you can see here in this picture, this is my next door neighbor. This house, can you imagine that? I didn't even know that I lived right next to an old world building. Like I was shocked because I used to, like almost every day I passed through this house, but it used to be lived by a white folk or something, but they sold it somewhere around last year or somewhere there. But then, as I was passing through, I started all this cable vent. I once saw it, but then I just disregarded it. I discarded, the notion that this might be an old world building. As I'll show you, there's another building also. I didn't even, the moment this old world order subject went like widespread, the first thing I did was go into town and start looking for buildings that shared the type of architecture that they were showing us, like in Australia, Europe, America, and there weren't much of the features that were resembling the features in the buildings on this side. But as you can see here, we've got a cable vent, and this is what I'm sure they call it, a dormer window. We used to see these types of windows on TV, the American houses with the attics and whatnot. So I just thought maybe some guy from Europe, just came and was inspired to, build his own house with an attic and a dormer window. But the red flag is the cable here, the cable vent. I even tried searching cable vents, modern cable vents, and it didn't yield much results. Today's vents are more glass, They're made of glass material. That's the one I found on Google. But these wooden cable vents, they are definitely old world. As you can see, this house is looking like maybe a double story of some kind. Yeah, these are the new owners of bought it recently. Yeah. I mean, these guys used to have a big cellular dish. We are the one who removed it. I mean, paid us a pretty penny. So if we go around the house, we can see another cable vent here. Is it zooming in? It's taking too long to zoom in. My apologies. Maybe so my machine. So here's another cable vent with a balcony. This is all old world, in my opinion. And I was really shocked. Like, this is another angle. This is down street. Another set of dome windows. I mean, I was really shocked to find out that I live right next door to to an old road house. I forgot to put the picture in here, but there's another house again in my area that has got a cable window. There's not really a lot of them left. I'm sure they stripped the whole thing down and started from scratch, because the only houses that are left, you can go into town. If you go into town, you find a lot of these cable air vent houses. This was put, I'm sure, about 3-4 years ago. I'm sure there was something there at the bandstand, the old road bandstand. They were trying to put another one up there, maybe for wedding events or something like that. But here's another cable vent again. But let me try to open up a page where we can look for these cable vents. Maybe we might find some local cable vents. So if you go into town, this is 6th Street. Must be 6th. No, this is 7th Street. This is a building. It must have been a house. Now they've turned them all into offices, and mostly medical offices. So most of them have got this. I'm sure they call it closed cable vents, but some of them have got what they call Dutch. They call them Dutch. These ones, they call them Dutch air vents. I'm sure the hip, however they classify it, they've turned this into a preschool. I'm sure I should be living in one of these ones. Here's another one. This is 6th or 7th Street. We've got the cable vent, the closed or boxed one, and then we've got the Dutch vent. This is a building in, I'm sure this is around 9th or 10th Street. It's not, the resolution is not that clear, but you see it's another Dutch air vent, and we've got this, I'm sure they call this the cupola. And then the top part here is a finial. And then we've got the pillars, of course. And then the windows this side, this type of windows, I'm not sure what they call them, but by now you can identify. I mean, because this is another one. It's around the townhouse. It's a townhouse house. I'm sure this is the townhouse, but they call the area the townhouse. But there's a house on the property of the townhouse, and you can see it's got the cable and this decoration on the cable, and like we've got another one here. It's another. This is in 7th Street. We've got the pillars, of course, and this must be in 6th Street. It's a cable vent. This is, I'm sure, this is 8th Street. We've got, I don't know, but they look like touch like air vents. And we've got the cupola, because back in the day, like people who've got few old road channels, right now they'll just be saying, look at the ornate detail, look at that, but you don't even know what you're looking at. You're saying, look at that, oh my god, that is so detailed and so ornate, and they won't even be telling you what you're looking at. So this is a house just outside of town. I'm sure this is the third house I found that's definitely odd world because of the cable air fence. You can see there's some decorations around the cable air vents. When I went to this place, and I was taking this picture, the woman who lives here, she got really upset. Right now I'm outside the fence. She was like, why are you taking pictures of my house? And I'm like, how can you tell I'm taking a selfie here? I mean, she got really feisty. Maybe she thought the real estate guys are trying to sell this house or whatever. But this at the top here, it's a finial. Yeah, they call these finials. They must have played a role. Maybe they were transmitters. I believe they were transmitters rather than receivers of this electromagnetic energy. So this is another cable vent. This is another Dutch cable vent. It's in, must be 7th Street. We've got another one here. This must be 5th Street. The Dutch air vent. And this is another one. It's a school. I mean, we used to pass through these places, but you wouldn't even think that something is really going. Like these white folks are not telling you something, they just behaving like gods. Like, yeah, we invented the phone, the same school, Stanley Primary. We've got a cable vent again. This, they call it the keystone. This thing here, right, on the apex of the arches, they call it the keystone. I don't even know what the guys who built it call it, but today it's called the keystone. This is the Central Police Station. I mean, you just took it. Prided it, and people getting arrested in these buildings. I mean, the government doesn't even own these buildings. I mean, look at the windows. Again, we're talking about the type of windows on these buildings. It's the same. Well, it's the same on most of these buildings. This must be a church house. I used to go to this church. They call it the Dutch Reformed Church. There's a cable vent. They closed it. I'm sure it must have broken into pieces. There's one I took today. I forgot to put it up. It's broken. So they're patching it up. And here we've got the finial again. I'm sure it was a transmitter. This is on 6th Street, I believe. Turned it into a school. And we've got the Dutch event. I don't even know where this school was, but it must have been somewhere around here in Rhodesia. We've got, I didn't get a chance to ask Mr. ChatGPT what kind of events these are, but they resemble the Dutch events, but I don't think they would call it that. This must be a cupola here with a finial on top. I don't know if these are finials or cupolas also. We've got the closed cable vents, and I don't know who. There was a statue probably here, maybe depicting heavenly figures, maybe angels or a saint or even the Messiah. And I'm sure they removed the statue and put this guy who don't even know who he is. And yeah, this must be a rose window, but it's a gable feature again. It's a church. They say it's in Fort Victoria, now Masvingo as we call it. Masvingo meaning House of Rocks. Masvingo, it's a wall. Yes, and then Zimbabwe means House of Rocks, like Mabwe, it's a rock. So maybe it means House of Rocks or whatever. I don't know. Here I've got another one that I'm sure it combines the Dutch architectural style. I don't know what they would call this one, but it's in Plumtree. I mean, we grew up, as you can see the windows again. We grew up, being told that Plumtree, nothing comes out of Plumtree. It's mostly like we believed it to be a rural area, like it's just a place where you pass going into another country like Botswana there. So people just believe teak trees come out of this town, it's mostly jungle. But you find an old world building that they turn into a school. I mean, there are a lot of buildings on this school that are old world and they're marvelous. As you can see, this is another building on this school. I mean, they call this debate hall. But we didn't even believe that you would find this. I mean, here in Guru, we don't even find buildings that are this beautiful. Here's a cable event. That's what we're still focusing on. You can see the windows. I don't even know what type of windows these are, but you can see by yourself how they look like. Yeah, this is the school chapel. Can you imagine? In Plumtree, in a very insignificant town. If you go on Wikipedia, they don't even tell you. You just say it's a town. They don't even tell you if it's a capital city or the third. It's not even among the capital cities. So I'm sure this is the rose window we were seeing here. This is a picture taken from the inside. We'll jump into these types of systems which they call exposed beam ceilings. You know, like back in the day, in the millennial reign of Christ, they weren't constructing the ceilings like we do today. Today, I'm sure they call them suspended or dropped ceilings. You know, where you don't see the beams, but you'll see later as you move on. I'm sure these are the dormer windows. Dormer windows, these ones. But now we are talking about European stuff. I'm sure maybe Western stuff. Somewhere there in the Western land, those dormer windows, you can see them. What are we looking at here? I'm not even sure. Maybe it's the cable vent here, or maybe it's so yeah. I'm sure this is when I looked up cable vents. I didn't think I loaded this in the folder. I mean, this is the smoking gun. This is the smoking gun of all smoking guns. I don't know if we should just cut the video here, because I mean, we've got a ton of stuff that we have to talk about. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I mean, I typed in cable vent. I mean, you can see I took a screenshot and it even tells you the date. It's been 2 January. It's around 5 cable vent. Google search. I mean, it's not even lying. And then I hit the images button. These are the first results I get. It's just showing me a bunch of CGI stuff. I mean, you can see it for yourself. Bunch of drawings. There's not even one real photo here. I'm sure it's because we don't build like this today. You know, I'm sure they're saying, if we build like this today, this is what it would look like. But no one is doing it. That's how we know that the cable vents are definitely ordered. I mean, you can see that I'm not lying. I ain't lying. No, yeah. You can see for yourself that these are, and I don't know about you. I don't know about you if you even saw one real photo. This is the new world order, guys. This is the new world order. As you can see, this is the Google's search tab where you can see that there are no real world examples, because they know that if they start showing us the medieval stuff, we'll start asking, why don't we build like this today? I mean, okay, so I'm sure now they're trying to tell us these are Falcon Heaven, these are Lomac or whatever they're trying to say, Louver, Cable, Vents. I mean, yeah, it's something to dive deeper into, but for the sake of presentation, just show with the idea, and then me, I'm thinking about even trying to go deeper into this research and try to find out what are the Limaco events, Louver, This is who I am now. It's really interesting stuff to me now. So I don't know if we've got any more stuff. Yeah, we've got shutters. We had forgotten about the shutters. Here are the windows, the dormer windows. I'm sure these are the ones that we were looking at. Nah, the other ones, I'm sure maybe we could call them the glass block, maybe. But you see these round windows more often in these old world buildings. So I'm here to ask ChatGPT the type of windows we're seeing, what they are called now. Dutch gable roof. Yeah. Let's keep on going, guys. Dutch gable roof. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. This is a Dutch gable roof. The Dutch gable roof. Yeah, this is a Wikipedia. Because, again, like the Dutch, maybe we're talking about Netherlands. We all know by now that Netherlands is an old world country. During the World Wars is the time when they were destroying most of these old world buildings, but the Netherlands, Brussels, where is Brussels? Belgium, like Austria, Hungary, St. Petersburg. They didn't do a lot of work in destroying. They're almost 100% intact, especially when we're talking about Amsterdam and Bruges and your Venuses. You don't see a lot of buildings torn down during these world wars, but most everywhere where they were taking you, there was a world war. It wasn't a real war. No one was killing anyone. It was a war against God, destroying most. Look at it. Look at it. Can you imagine what could have been here? This open space here. If you see an old road building here, it just breaks my heart when I see an old road building. Because this building here is very far out of town. It's in the ghetto. It's in the ghetto, and you can imagine that's when you start to see like, hey, this old world was everywhere. It wasn't like in the CBD, and then when you get out of town, as you go in the ghetto, this building is in the ghetto. So it means that in every part of the earth, it was all old world structures. It was all well built, everyone was enjoying. I mean, and then these guys, the invaders, just came in and tore everything apart. They tore something apart here, and then in this empty space. I don't even know what they're planning. They've got plans. As long as the Messiah is not back yet, they got plans. These are the shutters. I mean, as you can see, these are the shutters. There's a window behind here, and then you can close. That's one other way you can see these shutters again. And yeah, I don't know what this deco is. I don't remember. It must be an architrave or something like that. But okay, seems like this folder is done. So I think we could take a look at the cobbles next. Yes, we could try those next. We could try to look at the cobbles, because we looked at the buttresses. Maybe we should just do the balustrades first. Banisters, spindles, and balustrades. Okay, this is one of my favorite features to look at. When I hit town, and just looking up, looking for more buildings that old world, the remnants they did not destroy. These invaders. This is the greatest stock exchange, guys. I mean, I didn't even know we had a stock exchange here in Query, because we know of Harare Stock Exchange, and the new one is in Victoria Falls. That's the new major one. But the moment I started to take these pictures, that's when I realized, hey, that is the stock exchange. All I know about this building is that they now call it the Ministry of Mines headquarters in Query. That's where, if you want a claim, a gold claim, a platinum claim, a chrome claim, whatever mineral you want to mine, you just go into this building. That's when you find, like, they've got maps. They know where the gold is. I don't even know. It's a mystery. But gold, some are claiming it's giant trees, some are claiming it's old world buildings that were destroyed and smelted, whatever. But I'm not sure yet. But these are what we call balustrades. Balustrades usually have a banister. The top part is the banister, and then these sort of pillars are what we call the balusters. And then you have it's called a balustrade. I can't pronounce it very well, but this is the stock exchange, and we've got the Bali. This is in 5th Street. It's opposite the Central Police Station. Yeah, we've got maybe 2 balusters on this Bali Street. You know, this top part, the ban is down. Man. Yeah, they got us. So this is another one. I'm sure it's in Blue Whale. This is another Bali Street. Let's go further. Oh, this is the townhouse. So the house that we were showing you earlier, it's at the back. At the back, if you go this way, and then you go around this building. It's somewhere around here. The house that we were showing you with the gap of vents. But this is an old road building too. I mean, I used to pass through this building and I didn't even think that it was built by the angels, because the bell tower is one of the features that you can tell you if it's old world or not. If it's got a bell tower like this one, it's definitely old world. And we've got the balustrades. I took some photos of the close-ups of these pillars. You know, they've got names, but for the sake of time, we won't dive into. But there was a time they were doing the renovations of this building. They took out these tiles and put new ones. And the roofing system is something that revealed something shocking, because you know, when we're talking about roofing systems, you don't expect a roof you don't expect a roof to be constructed in this way. I mean, because as soon as you hit these trusses, below these trusses, you should be seeing like the inside of this building. But as you can see, there's another wooden layer just below the trusses, and even the types of the trusses they are laying here. I mean, it's a very odd type of roofing system. We don't build like this today. I mean, I'm sure it's the condition of the tiles, you know, that was now too old, you know, like, and too revealing. Like, people would start asking questions like, why isn't the townhouse renovating its building when he's got so much money, you know, in this third world country of ours? They claim corruption. You know, the top guys are buying big cars for themselves every year. And people start asking questions like, so why aren't you renovating the building? But this is the time when they were doing the remodeling. As you can see the date here, it's somewhere around 25 November 2025. They just put this thing. It was put in November. It wasn't even here before. So they did the roofing. But as they were, I mean, this part here, it was all flat shit. When they were doing this other side here, they were just exposing the part they were doing that day. But it took like 2 weeks, you know, like for them to cover this part. But I didn't have a phone that time, and you know, if you start asking people for their cell phones saying, I want to take a roof of that. I mean, you can imagine asking someone for a phone to take a roof. How are you gonna transfer that? What? How are you gonna? You see, now we've got the pillars here. Look at that. These pillars are amazing. Amazing. They're enormous. I mean, you can see the sheer size. I mean, I was just enjoying myself. This was the time before they started doing the roofing. This was in August. So yeah, let's try to move on with our old world study. We did did we finish? We didn't finish with the ballisteds and the banisters. This is another building. It's in 5th Street. You see the banisters. They're called dentils or corbels. That's the names they give. Those are the names they give us. This is Durban. This is Durban, South Africa. They're enjoying themselves. These Freemasons. This is in Harare, formerly Salisbury. They call it the Lorna building. This is one of my favorite buildings in Zimbabwe. Not because this is my favorite old world. I mean, look at it's got the corbels, it's got the dentils, it's got everything you'll see later. These are the corbels here. You see the dentils later, but we're looking at the banisters now. Look at the ornate detail. I mean, we should be able to know what kind of ornate detailing is this, but the John Levy's and the autodidactics, they didn't tell us what kind of ornate details this is. But we've tried to push the bar, because we believe. I believe that they are shoes. So this is one of the most controversial buildings in the world. We could also end our presentation on this building because they call it the St. Paul's Cathedral. England. Luckily she's wearing an England sweater. As you can see, they are standing right in this area here. This is the balcony of this massive building. So people are saying, yay, these buildings were built for giants, by giants. Because look at how tiny this person is. She doesn't even reach the balcony. I mean, she's peeping through the balcony. But, people are asking, like, if you are constructing a balcony, why would you construct a balcony that is unreachable? Why? This guy's it's a balcony. If you're constructing for humans our size, should be able to reach. I'm sure these are the spindles. What if maybe they covered it so that people won't commit suicide? I don't know, man. I wouldn't know. Just trying to have some fun. Ballisters, banisteds. Now my head is turning. To clog up, so they're what we call spindles. I wouldn't know. But this is what you get when you ask for ballisters and banisters. They'll give you a lot of results more than what. I don't give you a lot of old world results, like this is all what you get. Bunch of CGI drawings. So I think that's it for the baristas and the banistas. Let's try to look at the Cobble Freeze. Yeah, this is also nice. I came across this when I was just passing. I was just passing through, our memorial library. I was passing through our memorial library. And then I used to pass through this building, I discredited this as old world building. Now I was telling myself it's too basic. It's too basic. It can't be an old world. An old world must look like the St. Paul's Cathedral. Then I came across this, what they call them what? Cobble Brick Freeze. Yeah, they call them Cobble Brick Freeze. So you can see this is another church in Fort Victoria. I don't know, but I'm sure this is picture's not that clear, but this must be the Cobble Brick Freeze features. Yeah, must be them. Cobble Brick Freeze of architecture in the Western world. This is also in the Western world. These are all old world buildings. But there's this building here that we call the Midlands Hotel. It's right here in Gary. It's in the center. Hey, why aren't the images moving? It's in the center of town. This building here. It's right at the center, where the clock tower, is. And again with the fire narratives. Sorry. We had a fire somewhere in August, somewhere there, and just burnt this window. Didn't burn the whole building down. The fire narratives. This must have been back in the day. This is the Midlands Hotel. They didn't change the name in the transition from Salisbury from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. As you can see, it's right in the middle of town. But then, we were asking questions like, who would put a hotel right in the middle of town? And here we've got a balcony. Okay. Say you've booked your room, you want to enjoy some fresh air, you go onto the balcony, and then this traffic start giving you a lot of, it's even quieter in the building than outside. So why would you put a balcony? What's the use of it? Because when a person gets out there, the outside is even much more noisy. Imagine you come, you stand at the balcony, and then someone you owe money is passing through and saying, that guy owes me $1,000 and he's enjoying himself. in a hotel, I wanna eat him. You would want to put a hotel in the outskirts of town where people's creditors don't see them. Like, can you imagine? Because we came across this picture here. It's an old world picture, and it's showing us that this is what the Midlands Hotel looked like. And this part here is where the parking lot of this hotel is today. So I was wondering, like, if the president or the prime minister was to come visit this hotel, where would they park their motorcade? Even let's say someone's hubby, maybe, says I'm going on a business trip to Europe, and then they wanna meet up with their mistress in this. Then the wife is passing through, and then she sees her husband's car parked right here. What kind of secret affair would you try to? It's just not practical to put a hotel in the CBD, right in the middle of all the noise. I believe that this is a machine. It was an electromagnetic machine. This place, this hotel here, it's... I was talking to this chick. She works, there's a public toilet right next to it. And she was telling me, like, when the guys who open the public toilets in the morning, they walk the public toilet somewhere here, but she was saying, if you pass this building, there's right across the street, that's where they come from. That's where they open and close this toilet. They come from this place. There's an underground tunnel here. It's like, we are saying, like, there are underground tunnels everywhere. Did you even see where the toilet is? I don't think you did. Because she was saying, like, they're coming from down there. This is the Midlands Hotel, guys. Just to give you a clearer perspective, this is the Query City. This is the public toilet here. It's underground. Who puts a public toilet under the ground and is managed by the townhouse? There's the chick who works here at the public toilet. That's our market here, or stock exchange. By the way, who puts a public? The chick who works here was telling me that the guys come from. They don't even open it here. Look at it. You go underground just to pee. This is most probably an old world thing. In my opinion, I believe that this is an old world thing built by angels. There are tunnels all around this very small town. Guys, I'm telling you, there are tunnels right all over the city. It's all tunnels. They were connecting these buildings. They were a giant circuit. That's how they connected. It was a grid, an electromagnetic grid. So I don't believe this was a hotel. It wasn't built as a hotel. So let's try to move on. I don't think time is really on our side. Let's try to look at the cupolas. The cupolas. Yeah, this top this top cylindrical what can you call them? I don't even know what is a cupola, but I'm sure I have a page that was defining what a cupola is. It was trying to tell me what kind of a structure a cupola is. This is plum tree now. But as you can see, these are the cupolas. This is in Umtali, another small town that no one even thought had old world buildings. It's even smaller than Kweru. But just to give you a rough idea of where Plum Tree is, here is Plum Tree. You're about to go into Botswana. It's a very small town. Plum Tree is a town in Zimbabwe, that's all they say. It's not even among the capital cities. But they got buildings there with cupolas. I don't know what they weighed in the old world, but there were some transmitters or something, energy resonators. I mean, look at it. It's all about electromagnetic free energy. We're talking about free energy. This is Zimbabwe. All this, look, market blue wave. It was built magnificent. The Messiah came here in Africa and he built Africa. He loved Africa. I mean, people say God does not love Africans. He does. I mean, if he left cupolas, I mean, look at the white guys, they're taking it down. We're going with our cupolas, guys. I don't even know where they are going with our cupolas. But we want our cupolas, guys. Bring back our cupolas. So yeah, this is a rough idea of the cupolas here in Zimbabwe. So after cupolas, we go to, did we do dentals? Oh yes. Let's do dentals, cobbles, and modillions. Where do we start? I wanted to start with the St. Teresa Cathedral, one of most puzzling buildings in my quest to find old world buildings. I used to pass through this building. No, I didn't even think that it was an old road. Right around the time I was looking for these buildings, I used to pass through, and I would tell myself, it's definitely not an old world building. Where is it? Oh, Teresa. Here we've got Teresa. You know, I didn't think it was an old world build. I was thinking, maybe the white guys built it, But then I came across these cobbles, because the cobbles I was seeing them in a lot of European, like Western documentaries, when they were showing us these old world, what do you call them? Old world buildings. You'd see these cobbles. You see these cobbles. Well, I didn't capture, like the images, like took screenshots, but I took screenshots in my mind. And as soon as I saw these cobbles, that's all that it took to tell me, because these things, these outer shapes, they didn't convince me. Even the bell tower, at that time I didn't know, like, bell towers, all bell towers are old world. These cobbles here are ones that convinced me this is definitely an old world. I once entered into this building with a funeral church service, but I was still young, about 15 years ago. I didn't even think I was in an old world building. Right now, it's not difficult to go there. I don't think we have the time to really. Maybe we'll do a separate video. But there's a church house. It's got pillars there. It's an old world house. This one is a double story, as you can see. But the pillars are the ones that convinced me this. Look at those nuns, most probably. Nuns. So, what are we looking at? Yeah, we're looking at cobbles. These are European cobbles, Western world cobbles. Yeah, I'm sure these are the more complex ones, because Southern Africa was built more in a simplified manner. These are the Paris Western world cobbles. You don't have these in Southern Africa. These things, they call them dentals, like dentist, like teeth dentals. I'm sure they were shaping the sound waves in some form or the other. Who knows? Yeah, these are not decorations. They are decorative function now, types of architecture to do with the sound. So these are dentals. These beautiful things. These, you can call them cobbles or modillions. These guys, they'll be trying to confuse you. When you search modillions, they produce the same results as the cobbles, but definitely the dentals are these things here. So I don't think we'll waste much more time with the dentals, cobbles, and let's do fence. I think let's do the finials and then the keystones, and then we'll finish with the exposed beam ceilings. So we are now in the finials. We just want to take a look. Sure, it's saved. Yeah, we want to take a look at the examples that Google gave us. Mr. Google, can you tell us how the finials look like? This, we believe, were the transmitters, especially me, I believe, because you find them on the rooftops, as you can see. So if you go into your town, you look up the buildings that you believe to be old roads, look up for these structures. Some, like these ones, I mean, they're on the ground, and some are on the fences or durables of the old roads, but they must have been some form of transmitters or energy projecting tools or whatever, machines, part of machines, part of machine. But this is the general idea of the scope of what finials. All these are. If you see these things, you should be able to determine a building as an old road building. You can assign it that status. This is most probably an old road building. You see? People usually see this one on Muslim. What do they call it? Yeah, Muslim. Do they call it Muslim or Middle Eastern buildings? With the onion domes and whatnot. No, those buildings, they are all old road order, millennial reign buildings. But today we are focusing on Africa, Zimbabwe. So all these top parts here, all these top parts called finials. These are the Western buildings though. But this one is the St. Mary's Basilica in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. They look like transmitters, do they? Antennas or something. You can see them on top of the Bulawayo Masonic. Oh, we have a Masonic temple. I don't know which one isn't nowadays. They just came in and took all these buildings. So it's all Freemasonry, yeah. Yep. Here's another one. And more and more and more. Bulawayo, guys. In Bulawayo. All these finials are in Bulawayo, guys. Bulawayo finials. Yes, this is the Dutch Reformed Church. This is the house I was telling you about. Go again. And so the woman was fetching water here, and I was here taking the photo, And then she came somewhere here and she started asking, what are you doing? Why are you taking this pictures of my house? It's Jesus' house, but I didn't tell her though. Query stock exchange. Oh, the finials. Yes, the finials. And the deco. Oh, old world. The finials on top of the cupola. Ah, the finial. Okay, so we're done here. Let's do the keystone. I love the keystones. I mean, where they are mostly positioned is more, and it's just breathtaking. It's sweet. This is I used to learn at this school. I used to enter in this hall, but I didn't even know that this was an old world building. Look at the big pillars, size of the pillars. These are iIdentos, modillions, whatever. These are the keystones. They're at the apex of these old world arcs. As you can see, this is another keystone. My apologies for the picture quality, but these are Western world keystones, mostly. Whoa, this is another keystone. Whoa. Let's try to zoom in. See some CGI examples of keystones. This is a nice one. So this is how you identify these buildings, guys. Don't say we didn't tell you how to identify these buildings. If you see it with the keystone, it should have some other features also accompanying it that were used by the old world constructors, the angels of the millennial reign. Another keystone here. Oh, this is much more aggressive. Yeah, more aggressive. I won't finish them. A lot of them. We've got a lot of keystones here, guys. Let's just try to flip. Oh, here they are, and here is one of them. They say there's a metaphor, what they derived it from a stone, a part of the human foot or whatever. Who cares? I raise keystones, if we could just be patient. It's not zooming in. Maybe the processor. Something to do with the processor. Yeah. There we go. We have to scroll down. Okay, more keystones. I love keystones, guys. This is something. This is an old world feature that is one of my favorites. I Do we have more? Oh yes, Grumpy Grandpa. And I tried asking about how could they have done this with the bricks? I mean, what kind of bricks would have? I mean, how would they have done this? This design of an arc here. I don't know. We went back and forth for like an hour, and they just kept going around in circles, and then I just gave up. The chase. So I think we are done with the keystones. Now we can try to finish with the exposed beam ceilings. This is my favorite. This is my favorite smoking gun, guys. Oh, we got your ass now. We got your, oh my ditties, oh my days. I mean, we were talking about the kind of ceilings that we built. We built using like we call it the suspended or dropped ceiling. But the ceiling that was used in the old world was called the exposed beam ceiling. I mean, I haven't had the chance to enter into some of all these buildings. These are all the other big, but the cathedrals in particular have got this. I once went to this building as I took the ceiling, but that was night time and the resolution, but it was the same as what we're seeing here, because there's an exterior, the roof sheet, then they put the ceiling on top of the roof trusses. The artificial intelligence was telling us that they do it to show like how beautiful the roof trusses were, how decorative. I mean, look at this curve in wooden structures. I mean, the wood. I mean, today's wood. Today, we don't build our houses with curving roof trusses. We don't. I mean, if you have ever seen a roof being put up, I mean, it's just flat wood planks. I mean, okay, this is the exposed beam. I hope this is the modern one. This is the modern one. I mean, look at the wood, the type of wood trusses we use today. I mean, they're just flat. They're not curved. I mean, you don't see a curved wooden structure on the roof in today's architecture. The way we build. Let's try to zoom in on this one. You don't even see, they just straight, horizontal trusses. This is how we build today, guys. This is our trusses. Straight wooden, straight horizontal wood planks, wood beams, whatever you would like to call them. Okay, they are just flat, straight, horizontal beams. We don't use these curving wooden beams. Only the angels did, because they were using the golden ratio, guys. They were doing everything. They were doing sound. Produces the golden ratio. It's part of nature. You can see these arches. It's all golden ratio curvatures, guys. But look at the wooden beams of this roof structure. Follows the what? It follows the golden ratio. I mean, even this one, there are curves here. You know, curving wood beams. Curving. Look at this. I mean, who does this? How would you even construct a roof like this? I mean, no. Would you start with the roof sheets? Would you start with the beams? I mean, how do you lay the beams? I mean, look at how spaced they are. It's not like today's beams where you'll be sitting on another beam. I mean, and then how would you lay the ceiling? And then how would you lay the roof? Oh, this is one of the biggest smoking guns of all time. If we're talking about these old world structures, you know, that the invaders claim to have built in the last 200-300 years or so. No white folk built this type of architecture. No. They just did it. And I believe we have come to the end of our presentation. So let's, God willing, we'll meet in the next part of the presentation. Thank you, guys.